Let's go.
Welcome back to the Thinking Critical Comic Book Podcast. This is Wes, and it's back to the Comics Aficionados, everyone. Very happy to have returned. Obviously, we took a weekend off as my wife and I had our third son. The baby and mother are doing very well. They're sleeping upstairs. Perhaps little Eric will be making an appearance here on the broadcast a little bit later. But for now, it seems like he's asleep. I don't hear any babies crying. From what I hear, there's a big outage in the United States. Pele, who's having some connectivity issues, says almost 50% of all the U.S. is out without internet connection. So I guess we got lucky that we got at least 5 of us here. And we've got some fun stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about the comic book industry. Is it healthy? A lot of people, it's hard to tell because we don't have the sales numbers, but we do have some people, at least execs within comic books, talking about perhaps things are better than they appear right now. After that, we are going to get into some of the record-breaking numbers from Todd McFarlane's new Spawn universe. There's 4 new titles coming out, and it looks like they're all going to eclipse 200,000 sales. Very big numbers. After that, we shall walk into, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about some Marvel news, some DC news. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, let's get to the comic book panel. We got a great group of people for you. Pele, you're back. Are you okay?
No idea.
Okay.
It may work for a while. It may not. I don't know.
So they're curmudgeon to critical. Hopefully, he is back in style. How you doing, Pele? Besides the internet,
Peachy. Everything's
sounds
peachy.
Like it.
One-word answers for him.
We do have a late Kramer for the Thinking Critical Diaper Fund. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you supporting the channel and helping out the family. I appreciate that. Next up, we've got comic book writer, award-winning editor, Joe Corallo, one of the hottest names in all of independent comics. How you doing, Joe?
I'm all right, Wes. Appreciate that intro. But yeah, things are good. Backstar #2 is out next week. So yeah. It's a good time.
You've been telling me some of the stuff you've been working on behind the scenes, and you are a busy man. You've got a lot of things in the pipeline that people should be seeing within the months ahead.
Yeah, there should be a few announcements coming up. Yeah,
absolutely. Joe's got some hot stuff he's working on. We've also got Uel Carter out of Berkeley, California, from Fantastic Comics. How you doing, Uel?
Fantastic. Great to be here. Congratulations, Wes. Sorry I didn't say it before. A million times it ran through my head from when you told me it happened till now. And I'm like, I got to make sure I say something. And then Perch.
That's what happens. Well, thank you very much. Obviously, just mentioned is Perch. I heard you guys had a great time on the Friday night drinking in Comic Street.
Yeah.
How are you up this early?
It's it's fun. It's fine. I like how we were comics and drinks, and now it's drinks and comics, and pretty soon it'll be drinks, and then it's all good. But it was a good time. Pat Chand was a great guest, and Joe and I had a wonderful time.
It sounded like there was debauchery in the air.
Well, I mean, sure, always.
We got to break to Pat what that Powerpuff Girls script was about. So that was fun. We got to see his reaction live.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Did you guys do a reading of the Powerpuff Girls script?
No, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Dramatic table reading.
We need some pretty butch voices for that, I think.
It all works.
If you need to volunteer, I'll do it.
It all works. I like how, but by the way, Wes, your commitment to the show, you're like, we took 1 weekend off to have a baby. Yeah, yeah. Well done. If the super chats don't flow today, I don't know what's going on.
Listen, I aim to please. I had 6 days worth of content lined up, about 14 videos, and we only needed 4. My wife let me get right back to work. So
to be fair, he was not pushing.
You always plan ahead for your channel when you're having a baby. Yeah,
absolutely. And I might be taking a vacation somewhat in the next few months, so might have to plan ahead for that too. Might be in the U.S. We'll see how it goes. We still got some planning to do. We've got another super chat from Kenneth Dowling. Good morning, guys. Wes, congrats to the latest addition to the family. Mazel tov. I love this channel. Let's talk comics. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate the support, and we are definitely going to get into comics here in a second. But first, we got to say hello to the co-host of the Comics Aficionados, the man who's been here since day one. Doc, how you doing?
I'm wonderful, and I am super happy to be here. I'm super happy that you are here, and let's get to it.
All right, Perch. There have been mixed signals coming out of the comic book industry. Over at DC Comics, we have a senior executive leaving DC Comics. He was not fired, leaving of his own free will. We got another editor, Jamie Rich, kind of a senior level editor, was the Batman group editor, also leaving DC Comics. But Todd McFarlane, in some recent interviews, has talked about how, like, this past year has been fantastic as far as sales go. Are you as confused about the health of the comic book industry as I am?
No, I mean, I think it's healthy for some. It's not healthy for all. I think it's as simple as that. You know, I think Todd's got a good thing going right now, and he's going to ride a bit of a wave. His title is selling, much lower, and now it's picked up and it's selling higher, and he's expanding. So yeah, it's good for him, and I think it's good for some people. It's like the comic industry as a whole isn't tanking or isn't succeeding. There are definitely pockets that are making their way. Boom is finding some success right now as a company, and they're figuring out some ways to do it. So this is all kind of based on this. When people say the whole comic industry is dying, or no, the whole comic industry is healthy. Neither of those is true.
Is that the impression you get, Joe? It sounds like you have got a lot of new opportunities coming forward. People are definitely spending money to create comics right now.
Sure, absolutely. And going to the point with Todd, there was a pretty long period of time there where Spawn was like coming out, but there wasn't a lot of fanfare. It was really that build up to 300, and he was able to keep that momentum that really helped him get where he is.
Also, dropping the price point made a big impact. A lot of people noticed.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. I mean, and I do think a lot of that also had to do with Invincible and Saga, and not just Invincible, Walking Dead, Saga, and all that kind of ending or going on hiatus. And because you made too much money, so you have to go on hiatus. But you have all that going on, so you need, if you're at Image, you're like, well, what do we have that's going now that can be good, that has a big back catalog, that we can also have that marketing of a monthly book, and the clear answer there was Spawn. So yeah, they put a lot behind that. So it all sort of worked out. I'm sure there are plenty of creators at Image on lower selling titles that you could ask them how the industry is doing, and they will talk your ear off about it.
Absolutely.
What, you mean they didn't decide that they should use Savage Dragon as the one to fill that role?
That's going to the new partnership with Pornhub. There you go.
Very problematic.
There you go.
I will be reviewing it on my new channel on Pornhub.
No, it is. I mean, like Joe said, there's some people who have definitely figured it out, who are using this moment in time to boost their sales, to get things pushed up, and they're doing well, to get in other projects. People who can figure out how to spend money are doing well, and then there's other places that are definitely struggling and have changed their model. And we're seeing a shift. We're not seeing a death. We're not seeing a resurgence. We're seeing a shift.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to say thank you very much to Atomic Hound for supporting the channel, for Eric's inevitable interstellar travel Shanhara fund. Well, thank you very much. And I was glad that my wife okayed naming the baby after my favorite comic book hero, Exo Man of War, Eric of Dacia. Well, I'm very blessed. So as Perch was just talking about, Uel, people having to adjust their strategies in the business. When the pandemic happened, you didn't have an e-commerce site. And now it's something that you almost have to have if you're going to be doing some new comics and trying to get your wares out across the country.
Yeah, sure. So we recently got our site going, and we're just selling back issues for the most part, a Shopify store. But then there's the other people that have their online, new stuff going through. Sounds pretty snazzy, I guess. And then even recently, Diamond Perch with Pollbox, I think it's called. Yep, they have a Pollbox program where people can subscribe to I don't even know. They're placing orders with stores that have subscribed to this service. And I'm not doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Todd McFarlane was also talking about really sticking it with Diamond, and talking about. Pardon me?
I thought that was surprising as well.
Yeah, see, and then talking about people that are doing well, like Todd, and other people that aren't doing well, like, let's say, Scout, or maybe not Scout since they're Lunar now, but maybe Vault, they can't be selling near as many as an Image comic book, probably, at least company-wide. So sticking it with Diamond, and, it's kind of like forcing these other people to stick with them also, I kind of feel like, and
I think it makes sense, though.
Well, it does, but
especially
because they'll be the big fish in the pond.
Exactly. Image becomes the big fish in the Diamond pond, while DC is the big fish in the Lunar pond, and Marvel is the big fish in the Penguin Random House pond. Well, for comics.
And then where are all these? What's Mad Cave going to do when Marvel's not bringing in a lot of Diamond money and they've lost their DC money, and I don't know what else. I mean, they are going to have Marvel money. I'm sorry, I kind of shifted a little bit, but I think it's still kind of is talking to this, because just when you got to pay these people off, these companies, and Image is your big boy and they're standing by you. I don't know if they'll have as much revenue for these smaller companies.
They're going to have to adjust. And I'm not surprised Todd's saying he's sticking with Diamond for the moment. It is a chance for them to more or less control Diamond, which they're going to. I mean, if you're Todd, if you're Image, and you're Eric Stevenson, you have to look at this like you can ban that company for a while, and they will. And
Diamond will no longer, all you Black Mask type publishers out there, your days of a free ride and Diamond ignoring their own rules about the minimum distribution for your book so that you can still make, Kim and Kim volume 17 that 900 copies sell, that's fucking over. You're done. If you can't sell 5,000 copies a month, you're not getting distributed anymore. Sorry. Bye.
I love Joe's expression right now.
Well, we do have the editor from Kim and Kim, Joe Corallo. What are your comments on that?
Well, Everfrost #1's available now from Ryan Lindsay. You can get that at comic shops that were able to order it. So
Perch, are we going to get
pretty good.
Perch, are we going to get a sales analysis of Kim and Kim? Have you done that yet?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
The first issue sold very well for Black Mask.
I sold the hell out of it, Joe. I want you to know that.
And then by the time you were done, there was 9 people buying it.
It's
worldwide.
I understand where the Kim and Kim jokes come in. There's titles that sell a lot less. I'll just throw that out there.
Oh, absolutely. That's just the biggest one of the no-name titles that don't sell that I can think of off the top of my head. Sorry, Joe. I love you.
It's fine. It's fine.
So Pele, one of the things that I believe is there's probably, oh my goodness, we just lost Pele. All right, I'll throw it to you, Perch. Hopefully you can fill in until Pele comes back, since he's our back issue guy. But it does feel like there's probably more commerce and money being exchanged within the comic book industry now than there was 10 years ago, because back issues have picked up. They're so hot right now. And that's where everybody, it feels like all the money is exchanging hands, or a lot of it is in the back issue market and people finding these keys.
I mean, yeah, I think it kind of is the same answer. I think comic shops that have back issues and have a good stock and supply, they've seen some benefit from that. But there were a decent amount. I mean, and you'll notice that a lot of comic shops who, over the last 10 years, which was a mistake, really gravitated toward new comics being the bulk of their revenue. And for those shops, they're not doing so well. I mean, they're not doing as well, or they're having to adjust. Certainly some titles are doing okay, but it's really the comic shops that were prepared for back issues and had a stock to sell are selling it and doing okay. But that's not all of them. And so that's why, again, you have a lopsided answer.
Yeah, you had just an enormous amount of back issues in your basement that you hadn't sorted out yet.
Always do. Funny enough, as I'm getting more in, I'm not getting to all that other stuff also.
You decided to put that on the back burner.
Yeah, I've always been like in the store, I squirrel away stuff because, it comes in and I don't want it to leave and I don't want it to get thrown away. And now it's popular again. Yay.
You'll come over and sort them for you for 10%.
Oh, wow. 10%. Okay.
If you
Sounds
can get
good.
Eric Breed in there, he'll do it for comic books.
Oh, yeah. And I know I can always send it to Shanghala, maybe get him to do it.
Oh, no. I meant 10% of the comics.
Oh, 10%.
Well,
I'll
10% of the profits.
I'm sure I have some Heroes Reborn for you. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you. Yay.
So I do need to say thank you very much to Darth Bobcat support for the ongoing Eric Monthly, so we don't have to reboot him in 6 months with 50 variant covers.
That's good.
Oh, you're getting 50 variant covers whether you like it or not.
Wait, you're gonna have 50 wait, do they now like sell them like Fortnite skins for your babies?
Well, it's 50 variant blankets.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're going to have 50 adorable pictures of the baby on the channel within 6 months as we reboot the Eric Fund, apparently. We've also got Kenneth Dowling. Todd McFarlane has been trying to make his Spawn movie that's over 5 years now. I don't think he knows what he's doing, assuming it comes out. Well, he actually already made a Spawn movie.
he did
What was
it.
that,
Though.
1990?
He
That
did
nine?
it though. Yeah, but he didn't. He had his choice back then. He had the same choices he has now, which was take a bigger chunk of money and have no control over it, nothing involved in it, or take a smaller amount and have a lot of control. He took. The
I'm
big
not.
chunk
I'm
of
saying they made a Spawn movie
money.
already.
Oh yeah. I'm just
But
saying
they've been talking about
he took the big chunk of money and had no control over it. So he wasn't really involved in the production back then. Now he is, and
that's probably why the movie isn't done.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be done.
because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Potentially. So thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling. A very good point. We're going to get deep into Spawn here in the not too distant future. So Doc, I'll throw it to you. What do you think? Is the comic book industry healthy right now? Is this a good time for the comic book industry?
I don't think it's healthy, unhealthy. I think it is a huge pivotal metamorphosis period for it.
Transition.
Yeah, and you're going to have a lot of, I'm sorry, but a lot of these like DZ list publishers, they're just simply not going to exist in 2 years.
I think it's the best time to be a
no, because
Z-list publisher because
look,
they're
there
selling
is
more comics.
We're selling more comics overall, but most of it's not going into the American comic book market. It's not really going to be a
All Comics is about to set their record. I think they just did set their record with Barbaric #1.
I'm not saying that none of them will. I'm just saying that most of them will be gone because for every one Barbaric you got 50, nothing books. And I don't want to keep picking on Joe.
Give it to him, Doc. You tell Joe what's up.
No, but you're going to have a lot. You're going to have a lot of books that nobody's ever heard of. Nobody stocks, and that Diamond has, for the last 5 or 6 years, just ignored their own minimum, order thresholds just to keep publishing because they've been propped up by Marvel sales gimmick money. And you're not going to have that in the future. That's what's going to go away. A lot of these now you're going to see a lot of consolidation. You're going to see a lot of those books that might have been
O&I and whatever just unconsolidate Lion Forge.
I'm not talking about that way. What I'm saying is you're going to have a lot of the books that go to this publisher and this publisher and this publisher all end up back under one larger publisher. Some of those small publishers are going to grow bigger, and others are just going to vanish.
And so
That always happens, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty common. I mean, since the 80s, you've seen that happening. And a lot of it comes down to, as boring as it sounds, the smaller publishers that can manage their cash flow and their money, not, fail in paying their people or getting behind on things and putting themselves behind the 8 ball, do okay. And so if you're a small company right now and you have a good handle on your finances and you haven't trapped yourself by getting involved in something stupid, then it probably is a good time for you because you can pivot and you can do a lot of things. You have a lot of options. And there's some small companies though that are definitely have been doing it dumb financially, nothing to do with the comics.
Is
just
Bad Idea dumb? What happened there?
Their marketing their marketing would be like if Joe and I were running a comic company and then we did one of those Friday live streams and we drank the entire time and then we finished the live stream and then decided to make our business plan.
Feels like it.
Well, I'm
totally hasn't happened yet.
I'm still not sold that Bad Idea isn't trolling everybody on shutting down.
It's in the name. It's in the name.
They are
Bad
idea.
Everybody.
This is Dinesh. He's definitely just gonna change the. They're gonna change the name. That's what it is.
So Tom McFarlane makes a good point here. If the health of the industry is better, it's because more people are buying, or the same people are buying more, or both. I think he's got a good question here, Pele. A lot of the signs I'm seeing as far as new comics are that a lot of the publishers, Marvel and DC being chief among them, are using gimmicks to court speculators right now. Like a lot of old school readers, I think, are putting their money in back issues, and they're using a lot of gimmicks and tricks, variant covers, new characters. We're seeing a new character every week in Batman right now to kind of prop up sales and kind of entice speculators in. Is that what you're seeing, Pele?
Yeah. They're trying to find a way to differentiate themselves. They're trying to build some type of equity in a new market. But the problem is they did this in the 90s, and look what happened. And just the problem is you have to have great content to begin with for these differentiators to work.
And for every Deadpool and Harley Quinn, there's 500 Darkhawks and Sleepwalker.
Hey, Sleepwalker's pretty cool. but yeah, you're right. And it's like the Batman villain of the week, and they're not even really that good. I hate the Magistrate. I mean, I think there's probably one out of every 100 characters that we see being introduced is actually going to make it for a few years. And the flashy covers, people are sick of that crap. And I just, they're going to the well too often, and readers are just tired of it.
I'm waiting for them holograms and chroma foil and
3D covers are coming back down.
Oh God!
No, like the real crazy 90s gimmicky covers. That's what we really need, because we're just rehashing 1993 right now.
Yeah,
really hard. So I really want a holo foil hologram cover. God damn it!
Yeah,
interiors.
We're getting bagged with trading cards. I know really soon. I know a couple of companies are doing trading cards again. So
because it's the new hotness.
Well, maybe with the Batman line, they can take what Spider-Man did in the 90s and just bring everyone's parents back or something like that.
There you go.
And see, you've got the other side of the coin with Magic the Gathering, and the trading card companies saying, "Hey, comics are hot right now. We need to start making comics of all of our card characters." And so you've got one side, each side thinks that the other side has really got it going on, and it's like, no, you don't. The problem is your content is shit. You've got to go back to basics. You got to start writing good stories with good artwork, and the game companies need to start, figuring out better game mechanics and not coming up with just gimmicky shit. And that's all we're getting right now is gimmick.
What if we broaden that bubble right now? Fuck the games.
Yeah.
But what else have we been on for the last 5 years? It's all been gimmick. There's been no story for at least 5 years in comics right now. Maybe you have a handful here and there, but 90% of it has been gimmick.
Well, the reason why I brought up Magic is they're in the same boat that Marvel and DC are in. They're exactly the same boat, because it's all gimmick, it's all flash, and they're the old time people with the real money have walked away.
Actually, at DC though, it's not all flash; it's all Batman.
Yeah, it's all yeah.
Oh,
It's
and
unfortunate.
for Magic, or at least Wizards of the Coast, I mean, they're just mining Dungeons and Dragons money right now. I mean, that's like I don't.
Well, the
I
new
don't
set,
really care
yeah.
about, and Pokemon money probably. It's
Stranger Things is the newest set they've got coming out. You know, it's like, what the hell? Based on Stranger Things? What does that
Yeah.
have to do with the card game? You know,
I mean,
dumb.
but I mean, I think people have missed, like, Dungeons and Dragons right now is making more money than it's ever made. I mean, believe it or not, it is.
Oh, yeah.
They're just piling the money up. So that company is just, they're focusing. They're going to mine that until it's a dead corpse for a while. But
Yeah.
So,
anyway.
Perch, we have a question from you. This is from Darth Bobcat. A while back, Perch did a video about these new hot image books piling up at Seattle local comic shops. Has that changed? 200K Spawn books on issue 1 is speculation. We're certainly going to get more into the Spawn stuff, but to answer his question.
Yeah, well, yes, 200K is speculation. I think people are going to be. I've got the Spawn numbers coming out this week. They're a little tricky to pull together for the early issues because there was a lot of kind of other orders. That title sold insane. The first 20 copies or so. I mean, you're seeing like some 500,000 numbers being thrown up there, but Spawn was selling very poorly for a long time, and
Down about 10,000 there for quite a while, right?
Lower, yeah, in some cases. I mean, I don't think people realize. I mean, I just, because you're trolling me, I was throwing the numbers for Kim and Kim up. Kim and Kim did outsell Spawn 1 month, just for what it's worth.
Way to go, Joe Corallo!
Yeah,
that was all Joe. I love it.
But
it was only Joe.
But then, of course, the title did come back. Spawn came back up, and with the 300 issue and everything else. But this is total speculation, and they're having massive over orders for some of these image books for sure. And that I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like you can get crossover.
It's because
very
people
easily.
see that something is killing the children. Number 1 is worth $1,500 already.
Yeah, and I think there's some dumb retailers out there that they sell out of something is killing the children, and they're like, shit, times 10 that order, and for issue number 4, don't do that. That's a dumb idea.
I'm thinking if I see a hot image comic book that's piled up in an LCS in Washington, they probably have a special cover associated with that.
That too, yeah, definitely. They're getting some covers, and you can't judge anything. And I know by Golden Age Collectibles, for example, they always get the local covers, and they order just a shitload of everything. But it's yeah.
So we do have
Thank you.
A super chat from Beleaguered Servant. Thank you very much for supporting the channel.
Yeah,
$49.99, very very generous. Thank you so much for joining us today and contributing and supporting the channel. And my wife and the baby are going to be very happy. We got more diapers.
New diapers. More.
I'm sorry, Perch, for interrupting you. What were you saying?
No, I was done. That's worth interrupting for. Get those diapers.
Absolutely, the diapers are important. Oh, we've got Kenneth Daly. Let's get this one too. I watched one of your older videos on Jim Shooter. I wonder if he's talking to me or Perch. I'm assuming he's going to talk to me on this one because I've done a Jim Shooter video. I know you've done one as well, Perch. When he ran Marvel, they were the biggest game in town, but people complained he was on their ass on their work. He was a top businessman pioneer. I wish he was running things now. I'll tell you, I don't think they could handle it, Pele. I don't think Gen Z or whatever and Zoomers and Generation Y could handle a boss like Jim Shooter.
No, they'd be crawling under their desks and crying.
They'd be looking for their Amazon safe space cubicle thing.
I think Jim Shooter would get fired because of all the HR complaints.
Oh yeah, he'd be. They'd make up something. They'd say, he violated them or something like that. They'd come up with some way to get rid of him because he wouldn't let them just sit around. He wouldn't let them just. Oh, this is going to be a week late. No, you're going to get your job done. You're going to do it well, or I'm going to get people that will. And he didn't put up with any shit, and that's what they desperately need right now. But you're right, the employees would be revolting against him.
I could see Jim Shooter getting called into HR, and by the end of it, HR's crying and packing its own desk.
Mm-hmm. And Doc knows HR. Trust me.
Do you think? I'll just throw this out there, and I can sense already nobody's going to agree with me. But Joe, I'm going to latch on. Joe, we talked to Jim Salicrup, of course. Yeah. The Jim Shooter, I think he was very effective, and I do think he was very good at his job. But I also think there's become a little bit of a myth that's been built up. Like he was running around the office like screaming at people and throwing things and that's not actually, that wasn't his personality. He was stern, but he wasn't a crazy asshole.
No, he was the type who worked later in the office than everyone else, you know, and that kind of stuff. And he would stand over you while you were working at times.
Yes.
But yeah, no, he was interesting. You look at all these interviews, you look at all those things with him where, yeah, he would have a very clear vision that if there was something he really wanted done, it was getting done, like that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was interesting, like talking to people like, you know, Jim Salicrup and, you know, how he was able to kind of work in that regime and all that.
Well, yeah, I think a tough guy, but I think there's been a little bit of an exaggeration on him, and I think it also Jim Salicrup, who of course, you know, was over. I mean, God, what are the things he was watching? He was over the Dark Phoenix saga, right? He was over, you know, Todd on Spider-Man. I mean, there was major things, you know, a core part of Marvel's business that he was running, and I think the team there, and this is not to take away from Jim Shooter, but there were other people also in this office who were extremely competent and doing a great job, and it was a collection of good people. Now, a good leader brings good people, and again, I think Jim Shooter's doing great, but sometimes I think Shooter gets described as like he's you know peeing on desks and things, and it's like no, he was not that.
If you from like, you know, to take a sports analogy, he was kind of like a I guess you could say like a
Lasorda?
Maybe I'm thinking more
thinking Ditka.
Bill Cowher, where he'd let you kind of get away with some stuff as long as you did your job. He really didn't give a shit what you did, as long as you weren't, you know, costing the company money. But if you decided you were going to start being a little shithead, he'd grab you by the face mask and ram your ass into the ground. But then the next day, everything's fine again, as long as you start doing your job.
Perch, do you get the feeling that Jim Shooter is looking to get back into comics, or do you think he's fine in retirement?
I don't. I think he'd be happy to consult, and I think a comic company would probably be wise to consult with him. But I mean, he gives like 7-hour interviews. So I mean, you arguably don't need to pay him to consult. You can just watch him. Read his books.
He loves to talk.
It's my belief that I've gotten stronger with over the years, especially in comics, is that you have to look at it as a group effort. There's not one magical person that can save everything. You can start with one person, but you've got to very quickly, and Uel made the comment, you got to assemble the bullpen. You got to get people around you so you can execute on it. If you have one strong leader and a bunch of kind of weak underpinning pieces, or it will not work. And so you've got to think about this as a team effort. You have to bring in that leader, and you have to keep working.
Leaders have to understand who's working for them, what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah.
Is this someone that you've set it and forget it and let them go work, or is this someone that you need to keep on top of them when they're not going to meet their deadlines? Do they need constant feedback? Some people will get down on themselves if they don't hear that they're doing a good job. Some people, if you tell them they did a good job, they get annoyed.
That's very true. Yeah, personalities are very different.
And something else that no one seems to talk about with Jim Shooter, and when these sort of discussions happen, are he's a writer. Well, yeah, he's a great writer. Great writer, great creator of things, and also he actually diversified the office there. He's the guy. Mm-hmm. He was the one who was there when they hired Christopher Priest, Larry Hama, Wheezy, Annie Nocenti. Those were all under his watch.
Yes.
So
it is funny. You look at some of his old interviews, and Shooter did make a point. It's one I wish more people would recognize, where he wanted he specifically said he wanted more diversity in the office. And he did it. He brought these people in, and it worked.
Yeah, I remember Mark Waid commenting one time that Jim Shooter was the archetypal white man in the office, and he wouldn't be able to survive in today's comics. And I'm like, he's the one that brought all the people of color and women into Marvel. You moron. You know,
No one
they
ever
don't even
accused
understand their own history, and that's
No one has
problems.
ever accused Mark Waid of being an intelligent person.
Well,
No,
I like what you said there, Pele, because I do think that this is why we harp on some of these things. And I know Joe's done it, Wes has done it, and we sometimes get beat up in the comments. It's important to understand history because there is a history here to this stuff, and it is a shame when this stuff gets erased. Like you said, Joe, I mean, Jim brought in some incredible people across the board into the company, and he built a good team, and that's why it's so important.
Yeah.
Comics. Could you imagine how badly Marvel would have failed? How badly where Marvel would be right now if Louise Simonson hadn't come to Marvel? She was like one of the greatest writers of her time, of that era that she was in, and she was consistent month in, month out.
Yeah, Wheezy is always going to be a name that I think never gets anywhere close to the recognition that is needed. I mean, I was pretty annoyed. The recent anthology issue that Marvel did, they gave Wheezy the introduction. Like, give Wheezy a story. Hell, why put Wheezy on an ongoing title? Why she would do it? Please.
Well,
I wish she was writing She-Hulk. You know,
well,
let her write anything.
We just got her an issue of her writing X-Men Legends, and it was better than pretty much everything that I've read from Marvel in the last 3 years.
There's a lot of conversation the last few days on social media about comic creators that age out and don't have jobs available to them later on. You know, the Joe Corallo's coming up and making sure Marv Wolfman doesn't write anything anymore. You know?
shame on you, Joe.
I mean, this is just the way of it's just the way of it. You know, a lot of people talking about Herb Trimpe. It's what a lot of people have been talking about. And comic books, you know, oh, that art style is boring. Let's get rid of them. And then people talked about Jim Aparo begging for some Batman work. The guy did like 125 straight issues or whatever at one time.
Yeah.
You know, 2 a month, no problem. You know, that type of thing. And then all of a sudden the guy can't get work towards the end. And that's why Wheezy isn't working on anything probably. You know, she doesn't have the connections that she used to, or wasn't the connection that a lot of people got jobs through, you know, and it's sad, but I don't know what the answer is to that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Really
everyone that Perch and I have interviewed, that we've talked to, who's more of an old guard sort of creator, every single one of them, it's like, oh, would you do comics again? Then yeah, like so few of these people aren't doing comics because they're done and they never want to do a comic again.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, to tease, I mean, we have an interview with Eric Luke coming out soon, and he wrote the entire first volume of Ghost and launched that at Dark Horse, and then he went on to do one of the better runs of Wonder Woman, I would say, of the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, why get him on a book? Like him doing Wonder Woman again now would be like, what the hell? Like, this guy is great. But to actually maybe to bring it home with some money that some people do deserve it. I mean, we talked to Bill Lobes. You can get a commission for him for $100 for a full page image. You can get Joe showed me Paul Smith, who had an amazing run in X-Men, and you could get a custom multi-character commission for under $1,000 from him, original. There's some of these legends that are out there, like you can give them relatively low amounts of money and they will draw original art for you, and you should do that.
Absolutely. We've got Ryan Wilson. I have not seen him on the stream lately. Thank you so much for returning, my friend.
Oh, hey.
80s Marvel had a woman leading X-Men and Avengers, women writing comics, black men writing comics, and gays in comics, yet no one complained. Because 80s Marvel was badass, Joe.
Yeah,
It's all about the quality.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of gays in comics in the 80s, but yeah, like no, for sure there was a lot of that stuff going on. One of the more prominent out gay characters in comics was probably that one guy in John Sable Freelance over at First Comics. I'm blanking on the character's name, but there was an out gay character in that I know that Mike Grell and Mike Gold were very proud of, and has aged, fairly well considering all of that. But yeah, there's there was a lot of good, solid stuff going on at the time. Really, through early DeFalco, there was really some solid stuff going on at Marvel.
And DC Comics had some groundbreaking stuff too. They had out-trans creators.
Yeah. Well, the thing that kills me too about DC so often is DC there's always these cycles of like DC will be putting out like more like mature but like good quality stories that tend to be better a lot of times than what's going on in a typical Marvel book, and then they never get the sales, and then they sabotage themselves. And it's just this like horrible cycle that DC keeps going through, and I hate it.
I agree. So
in fairness to Ryan here, by the way, the other thing, you didn't have Twitter. You didn't have morons on social media who are constantly poking everything to get attention, and that. So I mean, if you did have Twitter back in the '80s, I'm very confident there'd be complaining and bullshit. But
it would have been a complete shit show.
Yeah. What was Pat made a very good, like, if there's one guy who will definitely deserves to be in hell, it's Jack. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And we all abandoned Tom way too soon.
That's true. I miss Tom. Come back to us, Tom.
Well,
a better time.
You were our friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good writer too.
So Kenneth Dowling, Perch, he thought when you said Wheezy, you were talking about Lil Wayne.
What?
And now I need a Lil Wayne versus Louise Simonson rap battle and comic writing battle.
Yeah.
Oh Lord! Now I'm thinking of Wheezy with a grill.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, no.
Maybe Perch can do the illustration.
You guys can get Wheezy and Lil Wayne drawn by Paul Smith for about $1,000.
Yeah.
Or Perch could doodle it in 5 minutes, and we could bring it here on the channel. I would tear it apart.
There
What
you
do you
go.
think about that, Perch?
You should do that. You get some hits.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So thank you very much to Kenneth Dowling. So do we have anything? I'm sorry, Pele. We didn't really get to let you talk as much because you were having comm issues. What is your assessment on the comic industry? Is it doing better than expected? Are things going well right now?
Well, considering I expected that by this time in 2021 it would have already been imploded and gone. I think it's not as bad as it was looking toward the beginning of 2020, but it's still not in a good place. I mean, its new sales are still struggling. So,
But you're still pulling in the money on the back orders, right? Back issues.
oh, back issues are exploded. I mean, anything that's pulp paper, that was printed in the 80s, 70s is gold.
Do we consider back issues part of the same comic book industry, or do you think that's like two different markets?
I think it's two different markets, really. I mean, there's crossover. There's people that collect, vintage comics, that still buy new, and there's some people that buy new that buy vintage comics. But it's two separate markets with some factors, with some parts of it that interchange.
So we've got a $10 super chat from Lane Kramer. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. My issue sometimes modern comics is when they like to change the sexual orientation, race of a character, like Iceman, Black Cat examples, instead of creating new characters like the new Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that bothers a lot of people.
It does.
Sure. Yeah. I think, Joe, you had a good take on this yesterday.
But he was drunk. He doesn't remember what he said yesterday.
Oh,
Come
no.
on.
It's bad. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, okay, so great. Yeah, what did I say yesterday?
No, your basic premise was that it often feels that when they do this, it's through a lack of idea for the character.
Yes,
like,
okay, now I got it. Yeah. No, that was
Hair of the dog.
yeah, because what it felt like doing, because what sparked that was Tim Drake, because there was this whole thing about like maybe he's bi now because he went on a date with a guy or something.
Is that where that's coming from? I've gotten so many comments from people saying that if that happens, they're out of comics. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
On Tim Drake? Oh
Yes.
my god.
Well, here's
that's
the
the
thing.
one.
Here's the thing, though. You got to be careful how you phrase that, because are Are they out if Tim Drake is out, or are they out now that
I'm pretty sure they mean that they're
No, I know. I'm just saying phrasing's important.
And now we need
also
a
your
rim
hate
shot.
positioning was important.
We need
Those dangerous.
I guess the people that are writing comics are the same ones that are writing articles at salons saying it's okay to shower with your best friend. No, that's not what guys do. That's not what hetero
I
guys
did when
do.
I was in the military, but they made
Well,
us.
that's different. That's get in the damn shower or we're going to kill you, kind of thing. Not, hey, this will be fun.
So it's the one where we cuddle and make out with our best friend and hang out naked. That's those things. No, that's not a thing. No, we don't do that.
No, we don't do that.
So Tim Drake, okay, so they do this thing, and basically my point was that it feels, when that kind of thing happens, it feels less like a natural progression and more like, gee, we're trying everything with this Tim Drake kid. We even called him Drake and nothing. So what do we do? I don't know, make him gay or something like that. That's how it feels. That's how it felt with Iceman. Iceman was only slightly different in that it felt very corporate and very like, well, we need to pick an X-Men to make gay, and he's got to be like important, but not too important.
So let's pick the X-Men ladies man.
So that kind of thing. So yeah, that kills me. I hate that stuff.
An Angel would have been too stereotypical.
Yes, absolutely.
Nobody
was very cynical at that point.
And going by the way, yeah, exactly. Going by the way that Angel has acted in the past, hey, that's not a surprise. Nobody would have said Jack, but but Bobby? Oh, come on. Bobby is like, caught more tails than rocking chairs. I mean,
when I was a kid, we called Iceman lame, and we called Angel, and that's it.
Yeah. No, but
I'm not finishing that.
No, but Angel, I mean, full circle there. Then his blood cures AIDS or whatever.
Yes, it does. No, it can cure anything. It's the opposite AIDS, I think. That's what it is, or whatever.
By the way, that if you think Joe's being sarcastic, no, that was a storyline.
Yes.
Yeah, classic Kia Asamiya X-Men.
And
thank
Chuck
you very
Austin.
much. Delayed grammar. Kenneth Alex says, you guys would be great to have a poker game with. I'll bring all the beers, drinks on me. It would not be great because I think Pele would try and bully me around the table and keep going all in on my ass, making me commit.
I don't do that.
You're not a
I'm
bully
pretty
when you play
conservative.
poker.
Oh, well, yeah, I am, but I don't. I'm not always going all in though. That's too
I'll see you a Spider-Man 300, and I'll raise you a Hulk 181. 9.8.
Man, I'd love to be in a back issue poker game. God, that'd be.
I heard. All right, this is what I've always heard.
Holy shit!
Maybe Perch can tell me if this is true. Jim Lee is like playing poker like Michael Jordan plays golf. Loses all the time.
I've heard that. I've
heard
seen
that.
that many times. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he's an ATM machine.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's an
gets
ATM machine. Yeah.
Everyone
I've
goes
heard
there
you
to
do
get their
not
money
play.
back.
I'll tell you who I've heard you don't play poker against, and that's McFarlane.
Oh, really?
You do not play poker against McFarlane because he's like just one notch below, like the top elite.
Wow.
He's really good. So
I would do it. But I don't
just
have
to
a lot of
say
money
you
to win,
did,
so we'd
yeah,
be
it'd
playing,
be awesome.
We play in penny poker. We've also got Wolfstein 3D with the €5.49. I read Cena Grace's contribution to Pride the other day. His characters aren't complex or interesting, and again, gay. They are gay and nothing beyond.
Yeah.
Joe, did you read the Pride comic? What'd you think of Cena Grace?
I haven't finished it because it's a lot.
Terrible.
But no,
Just call it
I mean,
terrible.
but in terms of Cena, Cena's written other things. Cena's done other work that's more complicated than that. I don't think I'm not trying to disparage this particular anthology, but I don't think this was anyone's greatest contribution to the world of comics. So I wouldn't take what anyone's contribution this was, certainly the writers, as what they're capable of in the medium.
There you go. So you're saying it didn't live up to expectations.
Or it did.
Were there expectations?
If there were expectations, it didn't live up to it.
Yes.
Bad is still an expectation.
So thank you very much to Wolfstein 3D. We've got Dark Bobcat. But if Angel was gay, then what about his decades of romantic tension with Psylocke? It would make his death in Remender's XFactor nonsensical. Booyah, Doc.
Bobby went to war against Sunfire, the Silver Samurai, and the fucking Yakuza over a woman. Yet somehow he's still gay.
Maybe they were buddies.
It goes back to what Joe said. I think you run out of ideas to the character, and you're like, "Oh, we need to do something to spike some sales up." And what do we do here? It's the same kind of stuff that says, let's have Jimmy in the new cartoon be black. It's like you want to let's do something with Jimmy. Let's make him black. You
Wasn't
won't
that
say
like
let's
2
make,
months after?
What's that?
I was just saying, didn't Gene do that like 2 months after Santa Amonat actually took the job?
I don't know.
It was exactly 2 months after.
It's this very cynical gimmick, and with the Jimmy situation, it's like, if you want to, why don't you make Lois black? And I was like, no, she's too major a character. We don't do that. But
She's
Jimmy,
Indian in Secret Identity, though.
They already did that.
Jimmy.
Well, they already did it in Supergirl anyway with making Jimmy black. So
yeah, but that's just it. It's very cynical, and that's why
it's creative bankruptcy.
It feels like we are out of ideas, and so it's like, well, let's do this with the race, let's do this with gender, let's do this, and because there's times when you can tell like there is a thoughtful story behind it, and they are trying to tell something, and typically it works. But then at other times, it's like with Iceman, it did feel like they're like, I could picture just somebody going down the list, like, do we do Beast? No, we actually kind of had that tease in Grant Morrison. We can't go back to that. That would be too weird if we. We just had him pretend to be gay there or say he's gay. So what about Angel? We already went through that. Cyclops? No. Cyclops is too major a character. Can't do that. Plus he's banging him right now, so that'd be weird. So you just but that all feels very, very phony. And I think I would very much rather see them put some time into it, bring either new characters or make it not feel like a gimmick.
Yeah, and through all the Krakoa years here, it feels like we've been at this, 15 years now?
Yeah, right.
Bobby is not important at all.
Right.
No. When I was reading Marauders, he would show up in each episode, and he would tell the reader that he was gay, and then he would disappear again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he basically just came out, turned to the reader, screamed at them, "I'm gay," and left.
And I want to move in with you.
He's gay
immediately.
Of course, we can't forget the whole Logan and Cyclops and the Speedo thing. So
Here's an interesting question from Sadiqua Flowers. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Doc and I specifically talk about this in a video tomorrow, so he and I will abstain from this. I'll throw it over to Perch. I think he'll give it the nicest answer on this. I'm a new comic reader, and I just finished House of X Powers of 10 and loved it. But if Inferno is a direct sequel to House of X Powers of 10, what have you guys been reading for the last 2 years? What have we been reading?
Filler.
Perch?
I mean, look, Joe and I have a lot of conversations about this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It is
disappointment.
Character development, maybe.
A lot of no. It's definitely not character development.
Character regression.
I think the nicest word might be filler.
Yeah. Bullshit.
I mentioned this before, but I think what's going to happen is I'll have my Hoxpox oversized hardcover. I'll probably get that like Hickman X-Men omnibus. It's just his stuff. Inferno as a collection, and then years from now, I'll look back, I'll read it again, and be like, "Hey, that era of X-Men wasn't too bad." And I won't, maybe there'll be a couple of other things I'll have like trades or back issues of, but that'll probably be it.
I think that's how people will look at it, because they'll go, "Oh, well, I got the trades of the major stuff, and that was actually pretty good." And then they're not counting the 500 issues, that were like, "Oh my God, this is really bad." And it's like the heavy hitters and the main storyline, will be looked at fondly. And does it deserve that? Sure, but not for the people that are reading day in and day out all the stuff like all the Marauders, all the Fallen Angels, all the Excalibur. Jesus God.
Yeah, but one thing I know, it's kind of easy to slip into just beating up on the Krakoa era and all that, but I will say Hickman's X-Men, the main book, I would rather read that than go back to the last 2 or 3 iterations of the line. This is just that main title, Hoxpox, all that.
Yeah.
Much better than the Blue Gold Resurrection era.
Oh, yeah.
Much better than Bendis's all new X-Men. So not bad in that term.
She's talking about the last 2 years in actual time on the comic. What has it been, 6 weeks? I mean, from House of X Powers of 10 till Inferno has been 6 to 7 weeks
or less
of actual time. Yeah. So I could see a month and a half of actual downtime. From them. So.
Yeah. So thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoyed House of X Powers of 10. I enjoyed it. I loved reviewing those comics.
Yep.
Hopefully Inferno will be just as good. We've also got Beleaguered Servant with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Very generous. Is it fair to summarize most criticisms of comics with comics are mass-marketed entertainment that are no longer prized for the masses, poorly marketed, and aren't all that entertaining? I'd say that about sums it up, Uel.
Yeah, there's every once in a while something comes out that I'm really fond of. Regardless of the price, I think I can look past it. Mm-hmm. If the comic feels paced and is it a 5-issue miniseries because that's the entire story, or because that was the mandate? We only do 5-issue miniseries now. Books that have been coming out that cost money that I think are good are Beta Ray Bill by Dana Warren Johnson, Wonder Girl, Joel Jones is killing it. Dark Horse has a James Stokoe book I can't remember the name of. That one's really
Orphan in the 5 Beast. Yeah.
There you go. Heroes Reborn has been very expensive, but every issue had a different illustrator that was pretty darn good. So, effort is being put in these things, but it is very corporate. And once we start thinking about how things can't really change unless it's some stooge saying that Iceman is the one to do it too. Sure. It just feels like, we got to get out of it. And it's sad because we love our Spider-Man, but we're seeing things done to it that isn't like it used to be. And then that should wake us up. These are IPs. We don't own them. We like them. They're being borrowed, and regardless if they're being shepherded for the future or squeezed out for every last bit of juice so they can make some money, that's what we're getting. And we can't help it. And you got to choose, what you like.
I've got a customer that's a pretty good writer. He's been published a couple times with smaller presses. And he's been working on some Peter Parker team-ups with Miles Morales, fanfic type of shit.
Sure.
But it's amazing. It's really, really fun to read in a novelization. And it's about 150 pages he's got so far. And it's fantastic. And, he should be writing the comics. But, it strikes me as that they need to really cast their net wider as far as, because he sent treatments and stuff like that in and never hears from them. And it's sad, really, because there's people that are really passionate about this, but they're not getting the opportunities. And
yeah, I could definitely see that happen. Thank you very much to Beleaguered Servant. Very generous. We've got Darth Bobcat. If measured in $59.99 retail video games, how many video games worth of X-Men comics have turned out to be filler between House of X, Powers of 10, and Inferno? So there's been well over 200 comics between now and then, right? Right, Doc?
Yeah. Is Doc still?
Is Doc with us?
Sorry, I'm just back now. What was the question?
Never mind.
All of them. That's the answer.
How much worth of filler have we got between House of X, Powers 10, and Inferno, Perch?
I think it's about 90%.
So like 180 comics?
Yeah, roughly.
More?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 video games. Yeah.
Yeah, at least 3 video games. You could, you know, if you're buying the trades and you're buying some variants, you bought yourself a new PS5.
Yeah, if you did the math on it, about 180 issues at $4 a piece, you're looking at about 700 issues. There's $700. You could buy a PS5 and 4 games.
You could buy a really nice date.
Well,
Yeah,
you could get yourself a subscription to Netflix and HBO Max and Disney Plus for a while.
Don't
We'll
say
buy some
anymore.
good
You're
omnibus.
starting to depress me.
Yeah,
I'm trying to sell these books.
oh, you know what? No, you could go out and buy the entire that entire set, that box set of omnibuses, that Children of the Atom box set of omnibuses, that would run you. It was about $400. You could buy 2 of them, almost.
You could go to a track and rent a Ferrari for 4 hours.
Yep.
You could give your money to Bill Lobes, and he'll draw you multiple pictures.
Damn,
You could buy
probably off of that.
you could almost buy a commission from Paul Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably buy a cover from one of the original art from a cover of one of these issues.
Yeah.
You could buy a raw, very fine copy of Spider-Man 300.
I know Sean Murphy would be happy to sell you some original art for that.
Yep. He'd, yeah, you'd be
All right,
looking
guys, we made
at
our
a lot.
points. We got to move on to the next one. Thank you so much. We've got Ed. Is this
Oh dear.
Mafekit? We're going
Oh,
to say Mafekit.
there you go.
I think I know what he's trying to say. Maybe Gene, as the Phoenix host, harnessed the spirit of the fire and put the flame right in the Iceman.
Yep.
Perhaps
Flame
that's
on,
what happened.
That could be what happened, yeah.
and then he would be the Human Torch.
Flame on.
This is something I don't know about Joe Brent. He's saying, can someone explain Nick Spencer being called Nazi? I have no idea.
Oh yeah. No, that's going back to Secret Empire. But basically, what happened is people started talking about that again because he's working at Substack now, and there were a lot of people tweeting about it because they didn't realize he's been writing Spider-Man for a couple of years now. And they were tweeting along the lines of like, oh my God, I can't believe that white supremacist Nick Spencer's back. And it's like, he never left?
Yeah,
What are
he
you
just got
doing?
off. He just got off social media.
He never left. He's definitely not a white supremacist or a Nazi. That's ridiculous. The person was a jealous tool who started this, and yeah, Joe has it right. He's basically going to be a talent curator for Substack, and this
and that's
is
wonderful coming from another guy that said there are, quote, no good Republicans.
Well, I mean, sure. This whole thing is stupid, but it is rooted in the fact that he's going to be picking some talent to get a better deal. And the people who know they're not friends of Nick Spencer, or they are going to jealously lash out. They were hoping that job would go to somebody else, and it didn't. So Nick Spencer is going to curate some talent. People who know they're not going to get in there are going to call him white supremacist.
Yep.
Strange stuff. So thank you very much, Joe Brett. Let's move on to the next topic. We've definitely done that one a little bit too long. We've got Todd McFarlane's Spawn coming out, I believe, with 4 new series coming up, all kind of smashing records in the, what are we in? Are we in the 21st century here?
Correct.
The highest selling,
year.
Yep.
the highest selling debut was Crossover, 150,000 November last year. Battle of the Planets, 145,000 in 2002. Noctera, which happened this year, is 140. Spawn's Universe #1 is going to be 211,000. It looks like Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, King Spawn, and the Scorched will all also top 200,000. So Spawn comics all 4 of them will top the list as far as debut comics for Image in the 21st century. Amazing stuff happening right now. I don't know. Did you see this happening, Doc?
Yes, to some degree. Todd's been pretty good at maintaining the momentum that leading up to 300 was developing, and that he got out of 300 and then 301, 302, and, you know, on and on. He's been good at maintaining that momentum, and now he's parlaying it into an expansion of his line.
He's got a lot of good artists, Doc.
He does. He found a number of good artists. I don't know how great the writing is going to be. It's you know, that's going to be maybe a little questionable, but he's parlaying a lot of that success into an expansion of his line, and it's coming right at the right time. So yeah, I think I'm not surprised by it. I may be surprised at some of the numbers, but I'll be more surprised if it's able to maintain after 6 months.
People have been talking to me at the shop wanting to know what's going to be collectible of these. And frankly, the first prints, you know, of each one of these issues, the main covers, no. There's just too many of them. I mean, it's going to be a situation like, yeah, if you want to wait 30 years, like, you know, with Spawn #1, which you can actually sell for $25 now, it's a long time to sit on something for that. But I think that the Virgin covers, like the 1 for 100, 1 for 250, you know, those are going to be really desirable 5-10 years from now. They're gonna really be good turnover. But what do you think? Have you looked at them yet?
The new Spawn books?
Yeah. Have you looked at the new covers?
Yeah, I've seen some interiors from some of the artists. They look nice. I mean, it's going to be good. I don't know, like you, we'll see how the story goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I do think some of this record breaking that's being announced and going on is a little bit curious math, and it has been for over a year. And it's the heart of it. And I'm not necessarily talking about Spawn here, but you know, we've talked about all these books they're doing these numbers, but a lot of these numbers are kind of mathematical interpretations from a subset of orders through Comics Pro that people are then kind of extrapolating out to claim some of this data, and it's not necessarily accurate. So I mean, I do think this is going to sell well and all the rest, but it will be interesting in about 5 years when the hard numbers are released, or hopefully sooner, and we can actually take a look at what happened there, because a lot of the books that came out last year, I highly doubt did the numbers that were reported.
Well, Well, I think what it is they're called. I don't get hung up on the hyperbole of, you know, record breaking, blah blah blah, because look, the industry's in a very, very questionable position at this point. So at this point, all they're doing is it's pure PR to make comics look more successful than they are. I mean, it's like, you know, how you hear that Disney's going to have a black lead character for the first time, except for if you ignore the 7 other times it's already happened.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but for comics media and everything else, it's just PR spin nonsense.
Sure.
I'm just looking at it as, is it relatively successful compared to where Spawn was 3, 4, 5 years ago? Yes.
It's really all. It comes down to, and I know I put the numbers out, but if you like the title, if it's working for you, if it's enjoyable, you feel it's good, it really doesn't matter, honestly, how much it sells. I mean, well, it matters in the sense that you hope it sells enough it's going to keep going for you, but Spawn's doing well. I think there's a lot of speculation in these numbers. I think it is breaking records, but that number will fall. The number has already fallen pretty massively since 300. I was under the impression that it had built up and was stabilizing, but it's really not. It did drop back down again, and that's okay. That's what normally happens. But, you know, all things considered, it's okay. You know, somebody was asking, has Spawn gone woke? And I guess to that I'll say they've revealed he's a black guy.
Wait a sec, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I always felt insulted when he used his magic power to show himself to Wanda early days, and then he was a white dude. I mean, it's kind of cool because the devil's a dick, you know, and everything. But at the same time, I thought it was really trashy, too. It wasn't like, you know, like, oh man, I really got this really great idea, and then he's going to show up and he's white and all this other stuff. And I just thought, I don't know, could have done something different. A different black guy? Wanda, it's me. I don't know you at all.
Just to make him look like the clown.
There you go.
that would have been a great way to fuck with him. There's Spawn. I don't know if I'm about like 6 issues behind on it, so I don't fucking know. I can't answer your question. I
think this series. I think I'll sell the first issue really well. Just get back to Spawn for a second. I think I'm going to sell it pretty well. It's got J. Scott Campbell covers. It's going to have a whole bunch of different illustrators running through these books. So
including Greg Capullo.
Yeah, man. I should be able to. The thing is that Spawn's still, for the most part, pretty niche. It sold millions in the beginning. Image was big. The 90s were big. Spec was big. I think Spec will be big on this one, but going forward, Perch said, the sales don't look like it's going to keep going.
Yeah, not at this level. I mean, it will sell. I think it's going to even out to the 20 to 30,000 range, which is kind of above where it had been. And the Sam and Twitch TV show on the way, that should help. The being done by the Mayor of Easttown group, that's I think going to be really solid if they can bring that same kind of quality to the show. So that all these things help for sure. And thank you, Joe. That's very, very generous of you.
Until the Sam and Twitch TV show actually happens, I'm not holding my breath. That book's been supposed to be getting turned into a TV show for 20 years.
It's the easiest one.
He's just like he's a rain cloud. Anytime you get excited about something, he just rains on your parade.
Hey, look, it's like the New Mutants movie. I'd believe it when it finally actually showed up. And eventually it did. It just took them, 38 years.
And it wasn't as bad as what everybody was fearing.
Yeah. And thank you very much to Joe Brett. Appreciate you supporting the channel. We've also got Kenneth Dowling giving a shout out to Wes, Joe, and Uel. I saw your video on the forming of Image with McFarlane, Lee, Larson, Liefeld, and others. That Spawn is the most successful indie comic still today is inspirational. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's quite the legacy. Well over 300 issues and still going strong. And I don't know, is it spawning? It's spawning its own universe. So that's absolutely very impressive. And thank you very much, Kenneth Dowling. So I just checked on the baby. I was going to say Baby Eric wanted to make his debut on the channel, and he is fast asleep. So I'm sorry. Maybe next week the baby will make an appearance. So sorry about that. Also, while I've got some people, if you are a comic book collector and you've been watching the Slabbed and Raw comic book collecting show that's going to be coming out weekly here on the channel, and you want Uel and Pele and Doc to talk about your collection, send me your pictures and they will inspect them and we will show them on the channel. We've got somebody that's already sent some in, so westdiggscomics@gmail.com. Send them my way. I will forward them to the guys, and we will talk about your collection.
And not just bragging rights. Send us stuff like, oh, what grade is this? Or, if you have any questions about your collection or any questions about certain books.
Is this page restored?
Yeah, this stuff, stuff like that. Not just, hey, look at this. I've got a blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. That's great. Send it in. But, send us some problem-solving stuff, too. We like that.
Absolutely. If you have a question, if your comic's been trimmed or something like that, we've got the experts here. They'll have a gander, and we'll talk about it on the show, which should be out on Monday. So thank you all for that. Do we have anything else to talk about as far as Spawn breaking records?
I think we did it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. We've got Hellfire Gala is halfway over. Doc and I have, a good 15 minutes that we're going to talk about this tomorrow on the channel. So we will defer to the rest of the group, and I'm going to throw it to the most optimistic man on the panel, the person most likely to be enjoying the Hellfire Gala halfway through. Uel Carter, what is your assessment of the Hellfire Gala? So
I ordered correctly. Everybody that is picking it up loves it, and what can you say? They're down for it. That's my customers. I read it. I thought the Hellions issue was funny. I didn't care, but it was funny. The Marauders The only one I haven't read is the X-Men one yet. It's kind of boring, really. There was that Pete Wisdom situation that happened. That was kind of freaky. So we'll see how that ends up. But other than that, nothing great. Sorry. There's your optimism right there.
I do need to say thank you very much to Joe Brett for the $25 super chat. Very generous. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for a good show, gentlemen. Catch you tomorrow, Wes. Well, hopefully that is on the writing stream because we'll be doing that one live as well. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Did I miss one? I don't think I did. All right, we'll throw it over to Joe Corallo. You're a professional comic book writer. 14 or 12 issue event series. Feels like nothing much has happened. I did have someone say, but Pete Wisdom was killed. And I said, was that a big event? I don't think many people even know who the character is.
Yeah, it gets more baffling by the day. I don't understand it. But yeah, I am thrilled that there are people that enjoy it. Enjoy things you like. Don't be shy about it. Don't let someone tell you it sucks if you like it. If it's you and you like it, enjoy it. I don't know why, but that's fine. And yeah, I don't get it. The celebrity cameos kill me. I wish they weren't in there because it really sucks you out when Kevin Feige is talking to Cyclops and stuff like that. It's very stupid. I
What
wish
do you think
none
about
of that was
Cyclops'
happening.
speech about I'm a dreamer and I'm an X-Man?
Is he the same guy who murdered Xavier? Like,
Definitely not.
they have broken these characters and rebuilt them so many times that everything they say is a joke. It's like who cares anymore? You all of them are murderers who've been reformed and murdered again, and it's like, who cares? What are you all doing? Why do you like comics? What are you doing?
The people who really been enjoying this seem like the people that really like Project Runway and stuff like that. And there's no no dissing on that. If you like that, you like that. It's just most of the people, that's their thing. But the other people that like reading good comic stories and enjoying that kind of stuff, they aren't reading this. So I don't know.
But they haven't even gone like full Project Runway. Like it's not like they didn't even go far enough, I feel, to hit that. It's mostly people holding champagne glasses and being sassy to each other. Yeah.
Did you get that was it Shatterstar? He wasn't hurt. He wasn't bleeding. That he was like avant-garde. That was his outfit.
Yeah.
I thought he was hurt.
I was confused.
Totally. Where did it come from? I didn't get that.
That was almost as confusing as what was it? Tony and Quentin Quire having the same interaction different in two different issues.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was that?
It's different perspectives.
But they said different things. You can do different perspectives if it's like different angles, different art, but they can't say different lines.
I agree with you. We've got Lade Kramer. He's got a question. So with Hickman, do you believe Inferno will be his last X-Men work? And if so, who do you think will become the creative lead for the direction of X-Men Perch? Do you think this is Inferno his last hurrah on X-Men?
I don't think he's doing ongoing monthly books anymore. I think and it's funny because I remember a bunch of people clowning you for making the prediction by the end of 2021 he'd be out of ongoing, and seems like that came true. So yeah, F you guys.
I will take a bow.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know, maybe, but I think he's out of ongoing. I think he'll come back for little events and these kinds of things, and he'll be listed as a showrunner, so to speak. That's my prediction. Otherwise, I mean, it really feels like Teeny Howard is the creative lead of the X-Men right now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of the feeling I get too.
And why after all the stuff with Franklin Richards is Franklin there?
Why are either the Avengers or Fantastic Four there? between Reed remembering what Xavier and Magneto did to him, and then the way that the X-Men shit all over the Avengers in Children of the Atom #1, why are either of them there?
Why is anyone with any kind of important information in a room full of telepaths?
And why are Conan O'Brien and Seth Meyers wearing the same suit?
It's corny as shit, man. It's like, my goodness.
You don't do that. You don't do that.
That's
Conan
a party
O'Brien
foul.
knows better.
Yeah.
Get it, Dally. One thing I'll say about Hellfire Gala, Storm looks hot. Damn, she is fine. She's never looked this good. Brother, gotta have some of that.
All right.
Psylocke
There's
looks
no
good
denying.
too.
Yeah, I like Psylocke's outfit as well.
Psylocke looks good too.
I the only one that I still think is fine is just Rogue, because I'm getting waist-covered underboob.
Yep.
Sure.
I do not like the vibe Rogue's giving off. Did
anyone else also in that Marauders issue get sucked out of it when you saw Jordan White appear in multiple panels?
It was weird.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was so awkward.
Nobody wants to look at Jordan White, even in real life. Why would we want to see him on a panel in a superhero comic?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is supposed to be a kind of a gag on the fact that he plays ukulele, and
Yeah,
he would have broke it over somebody's head like Jeff Jarrett style. That would have been great.
Well, you know
It's
what?
loaded.
Hey, look, another guy that's broken 1,000 guitars and never put an ass in a seat.
Oh, damn.
Whoa,
That's true.
man.
oh, now it's done.
Take that, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Jeff Jarrett. Fuck you, Jordan White.
You're the Jordan White of wrestling, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh,
Get out of
damn.
here.
Damn.
All right, Perch, we haven't got your assessment. What are your thoughts on halfway through the Hellfire Gala? Has this been a success? If people are buying it, I guess that portion is a success. It feels, I don't know.
I still don't like it. I mean, I maintain it. It feels like going to the DMV. It's way too long. You don't understand why it's taking as long as it is. You think this should be a simple process, but you're stuck in there forever. Even the celebrity cameos are like people you kind of think you recognize in the DMV, but you don't want to say anything. They're just kind of in the background hanging out, and you just want to sit there and have it be over. That's what it feels like to me. I'm ready for it to be done. Whatever the twist is that we're going to get next week with like what was said during these panels with the time skips that we're doing in this thing to like
Doc says that Magneto is going to murder people on Mars.
I think they're going to murder the AIM scientists that are on Mars so that they can colonize it.
Why not? Sure.
But
Mind-blowing stuff.
It's just, but all of this, like I get it. I get the idea that it takes a lot of planning and figuring out, oh, we're going to do this and we're just going to give bits and pieces of a story in each issue. And I get how that sounds good on paper. It's very confusing to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not reading it being like, ooh, I wonder when we're going to find this piece of information out. When you read it the way it's laid out right now, you're just like, what?
I don't care.
Why didn't I, what?
At what point are they going to get to the part where they actually make us care? That's what I want to know. Like, okay, you're establishing these mysteries that occur during this event, but they haven't sold us on why they fucking matter or why we should give a damn about whenever they're revealed.
Well, the other thing too is they said that they're going to do the gala every year, so we're already suffering from like Jurassic Park syndrome of like, all right, guys, the last gala we did, like someone got murdered and it was a horrible international incident that caused war throughout the world. So what do we wear next time? Like, it's like, no, I think a lot of people would be like, you know, I'm not going to come next year. Someone got murdered at the party.
On.
I was violated telepathically.
Everybody flocks to where Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury.
Oh no!
Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
I'm shocked she's not there.
Yeah, she will be on that day.
Yeah, she'll make
issue.
sure she's invited next year.
Why can't we get all of the Marvel Universe to have like an issue? Like the Champions are prepping to come to Krakoa for the Hellfire Gala. That'd be great.
Yeah, they're just like getting ready. Like, let me get my Spanx on.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Using pasties? I'm using pasties.
Well, you don't want to know what Power Pack's doing during this time? They could have just like annuals or one shots for this whole month next year. It'll be great.
Absolutely. Event of the century.
What's Moon Knight during all this? You know,
Fighting crime.
Where's
fighting crime
Sleepwalker?
and getting dressed.
Where's D-Man?
Yeah, like Daredevil's in prison the whole time. He's like, God damn it! This is the party of the year. I can't make it. And he's like pacing back and forth, thinking about what's happening.
Exactly.
This is the kind of bad ideas, by the way, that you say jokingly in a stream, and then next year the Hellfire Gala crosses over into fucking everything, and then then we get everybody's mad at us.
Yeah.
Well, Doc's wrong about one thing. Nobody invites D-Man.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean next year, the cameos from the celebrities, it's going to be I don't know, Shania Twain and like just random people from decades ago that no one cares about now.
Is it LeVar Burton?
Yeah,
Jewel could be there. And then and they'll make jokes. Magneto will have a punch card like the 10th murder's free or something like that.
Yeah, you know what? When fucking Ukulele Boy decides to actually use these ideas next year, I hope he also puts the part in where I call him Jeff Jarrett. Fucking hell!
He should definitely break his ukulele over somebody's skull. We've got Nola nerds. Who dat? They split up Rogue and Gambit in the X-Men books. Now watch Rogue become a lesbian, just like Tila in Masters Revelations.
Oh, do you promise?
Well, now I'm thinking like maybe someone's hearing this and they're on the phone right now, being like, "Can we get Jeff Jarrett next year?"
Yeah. Hey, look, let's bring in somebody else that's never drawn a fucking dime.
Do we have to pay extra for a guitar spot in the comic book? You never know.
You know what?
There's good names in the chat.
There's Phyllis Diller. Yeah, Phyllis Diller.
She was a mutant and has been resurrected.
There you go.
Who was
the line?
Who was the guy that played Herman Munster?
Fred Gwynn.
Yes, we need
right,
him.
I know what the show is now.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and then but yeah, and maybe they'll get turned down from some people. Like I could see Mark Mothersbaugh being like, no, I'm not doing that.
I heard what happened last year. I've been unimpressed. If you're enjoying the series, I'm glad that you are. It's just a little too slow paced. We're halfway through and nothing of consequence feels like it's happened. If you want to tell me that Pete Wisdom dying was a big deal, I say, who's Pete Wisdom?
Next time around, Steve Gutenberg.
There
Dude,
we go.
if you get Good in there, I'll read the damn thing and enjoy.
Oh, and definitely, a Kevin Bacon appearance would be important, so you can get that whole thing going.
And it'll be nothing but jokes about 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Exactly. Because it's Rogue now.
How is Weird Al not in this already?
They don't know who he is. Come on.
Everyone knows who Weird Al Yankovic is.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I thought it was like of a certain age.
Man's a legend.
He is a legend. He is a legend. I agree.
I know
He's a cultural icon.
People don't remember like Dr. Demento, but they remember Weird Al.
Oh. I try and bring up Dr. Demento anytime I can.
Oh, the people writing X-Men, they don't know who Dr. Demento is. They wouldn't even think to ask him.
Yeah, we'll just put Jordan White in instead.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Marvel's, I guess Jeff Jarrett, I mean.
Weird Al's too straight. Weird Al's too straight. That's the problem.
There you go. Maybe if you're interested in more Hellfire Gala talk, Doc and I do talk about it at the end of tomorrow's This Week in X-Men. Let's move on to these new DC titles. They announced a bunch of new books. We've got Batman versus Bigby, which is going to be kind of like a soft reboot, relaunch of Fables. It's going to be taking over, I believe, back up at issue 151. We've got Deathstroke Incorporated, Joshua Williamson, and Howard Porter on that one. Aquaman: The Becoming from Brandon Thomas. I think all of these actually sound pretty good in their own way. I'm going to throw this to Perch, but I know what he's going to talk about. Which one of these is the most exciting?
Well, I mean, I of these three, I think Deathstroke's probably the one that I'm most interested in. Probably of these, I like what they do with the character. I like the Fables relaunch. I'm not interested in Batman versus Bigby. I love Fables, but I don't want to. I mean, we've all been wanting more Batman books, but I'm okay. without that crossover. So I mean, like the regular Fable stuff, I'm going to be highly interested in because I did love that series. But otherwise, Deathstroke is probably the one for me.
Yeah.
There you go. Absolutely. That's the one I'm excited. I knew you were going to say Batman versus Bigby because I know you're such a big Bill Willingham fan.
Well, I liked his Fables. I definitely think he wrote a good story there, and I think part of that has to do with like 151 issues of one writer. That's great. Like I'll like almost anything that's got that kind of consistency. That's wonderful. Mark Buckingham on many of those issues. Yeah.
Absolutely. What are you excited about, Joe? Are you? Let's not forget there is that Titans United. I guess it's a graphic novel. We've also got a Darkseid inspired horror comic coming up.
Yeah, I mean the Titans graphic novel is probably what I'm most excited for, and then probably Deathstroke, and then Aquaman. I don't care that much about this Aqualad, but despite my age, my Aquaman's Ramona Fradden, like the late 50s, where he's just running around with being like, I got to get this fish to the fish hospital, and that kind of shit. But I appreciate what they're trying to do, because this was a point I was making on the stream yesterday with Perch, where they're not changing Arthur Curry. They're making Aquaman. I appreciate that way more, and I get it. It's tough to do Aquaman. I think it could be done. I do, but people at this point are just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, even pre-Crisis, they were like, we killed his kid. We killed his wife. Like, what else do you want us to do to make him interesting? So I get that it's difficult. I think this is a better solution than... I'm way more interested in this than if they revealed a new Aquaman #1 with Arthur Curry, where it was like, everything you know about Arthur Curry is wrong. The real Arthur. I hate that stuff. So I'm much more interested in this direction than everything you knew about him was a lie. He's got a secret brother, not that brother, the other brother. We don't know. I hate that stuff.
Just give him a pet Kraken and move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm excited. They should have, like, at the beginning of the universe, there was an ocean planet with a seed, and it's been waiting to gestate for millennia now, and that's really the origins of Arthur Curry. And it was written in the stars, and we'll change everything that we ever knew about him. There's like a totem with a dolphin at the top that represents him, and we'll get a new origin for Aquaman.
Yeah,
because why not?
Maybe Scott Snyder can write it. There'll be a secret gate somewhere.
Just in time for the Aquaman movie sequel.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I am also excited about this Aquaman to be coming. I like Jackson Hyde, and I thought that Brandon Thomas did a good job with the Aquaman future state stuff. So at least it feels like he's got a good handle on the character and to do something interesting with him.
Yeah.
Does this mean that Arthur Curry has to die?
I don't think so.
Not unless you're an idiot. Like, if you're a terrible, dumb writer and you think that the way to do this is to kill him, then I guess you could do that, but you'd be an idiot.
This is DC Comics in 2021 we're talking about. You realize that. And most of their writers are fucking idiots.
You gotta kill a side character, so like that Volcon guy or something like that. And I'm sick of seeing him anyway.
Wait,
so
we can
kill him all.
Wait, we can
He's
use
kind of fat, he doesn't really do much. He has that mustache, I think. I'm done with him.
Damn, I got excited for a second. I'm like, wait a second, we can use Aquaman to kill Vulcan over in the X-Men?
No,
Great.
wrong one. No, I like
Damn.
Vulcan. You don't like him? I love a retcon character like that. Throw another Summers brother in there.
We're getting a lot of surprise siblings this week.
So Brody's Mullet has a good suggestion. Hulk smash the like button, everyone. We definitely would appreciate that. And we have a request from Lane Kramer for Wes to review and cover Batman Reptilian and Suicide Squad Get Joker. I discovered these from your vids. How did I miss the creative team's Black Label finally back? Well, I am absolutely going to be reviewing at least the first issues of these these are the comics, or among the comics I'm most excited about. I would actually put probably put Deathstroke Incorporated above these, but they're right up there with them. You're talking Garth Ennis, Liam Sharp on a Batman Reptilian, Suicide Squad to get Joker. That is
Azzarello, right?
Yeah, Brian Azzarello and the dude
Alex
that always
Believe?
worked. Yes, Alex Believe, the guy that always worked with Bendis.
I'm awesome.
You are the man. Perch, what do you think? Are these going to live up to the hype? Is Black Label back? We did a video on Black Label. Is it back?
I mean, no, I don't think Black Label's back in the sense that there's a lot of other stuff being dumped in there too. But I do think these look like good books. I think Batman Reptilian, even though both these are the two over-published books that DC has going on right now, they both look very solid. I think Garth Ennis doing stuff is always going to be entertaining to me. And the premise for Get Joker sounds like a clear mission. Like, you're going to pick up this book, you know what's going on. It's straightforward. It's like the pitch is easy to digest and good. So I think both these will be very good.
And I'll definitely be covering them here. So Pele, what are you most excited about, just as far as the new DC titles they announced this week?
Deathstroke Incorporated. Yeah, that's because it's been a while since we've had some good Deathstroke, and I'm
over 18 months since Christopher Priest's run.
I know, and it's one of my favorite characters in DC. So how could you go wrong? Well, hopefully it at least meets expectations. A lot of customers are looking forward to it too. So it's generating more buzz than the others. Which, shocking for Batman. I mean, we don't get enough of that. So, yeah, definitely Deathstroke, and maybe it'll help maybe some back issues too. So
Uel, we do have the Titans United graphic novel coming up. It's got a lot of the classic New Teen Titans characters from Marv Wolfman, George Perez's run. We've got Dick Grayson, Starfire. Well, we got Beast Boy in there, but we're adding Superboy and Red Hood to the mix. I think that sounds good to me.
That sounds fine. Teen Titans, I try and push it as much as I can, but it doesn't always. It's the old stuff that really does the best for me.
Oh yeah.
Big fan of the Wolfman Perez stuff. Obviously, my age would. How could I not if I was reading comics during that time? But there have been some really good Teen Titans that have been out there. And even recently in the New 52, or probably Rebirth is what I like the most. I don't know. I'll just order it like normal. The one I'm hoping for here is the Batman versus Bigby. Another Batman title. How can we say that again?
Oh, yeah.
But this is actually a good use for a Batman offshoot series. It's trying to give some heat to somebody else. If we can get Bigby important with Batman, then maybe a Fables. I remember when I sold Fables like crazy. Trade paperbacks and issues. And those, I mean, the life of Fables, I worked in a comic store, whether it's my own or not. So like I saw it from the very beginning. I like that series. It's not my favorite series, but it's one that new people can get into. It brings them back to the store. And I'm most excited hoping that this miniseries can bring an old creator back to the fold, you know? We were talking about it earlier, how people aren't getting a chance. This is a chance. Let's show them that this is good, and bite the bullet and everybody buy it, regardless.
So we've got a £5 super chat from Zook's Pop Culture. Greetings from the UK. Have you playing in the store? Keep up the great work, guys. Well, thank you very much, and I hope everyone at Zook's Pop Culture in the UK is having a great day. Used to live in Huntingdon in the UK when I was in the military. Had a great time living in England, so hope you guys are enjoying the show, and shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for the support. What else have we got? We've got Doc. This was the only way you were going to get in on this subject because everyone was so pissed off at your take that Batman during the 80s sucked.
Yep.
It did. I mean,
no, I said the 90s.
I'm sorry, Batman in the 90s sucked.
About to say.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know. I don't love the 80s Batman.
Oh, I loved 80s Batman.
I like it more now than I did then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Gene Colan was old hat at the time. Now he's dead, and I'm never going to get a new book. Those are great.
It took until Jim Lee's Hush for Batman to regain its preeminent position in the comics industry. There's a reason why up until then, remember up through the 90s, they always used the Batman index. In the late 90s, it had been down so far for so long that they actually considered going to an X-Men index for determining sales on books. But then Hush happened, and it brought Batman back to being the number one ongoing with a regularly.
All right, Doc. I can't have you on my channel talking about Batman. You pissed so many people off the last time you did it, but I do want to say thank you very much. What product does Deathstroke Inc. manufacture and sell? Death, Doc. Death to the infidels. They're going to be taking out villains.
I don't believe that the SEC will permit that, or the FDA.
The FBI uses them. CIA uses them. So, they're endorsed by the...
Yep. They're working for trust.
I'm sending him to Krakoa. That's where I'm sending him.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
Oh, that would be awesome, actually. Deathstroke versus Domino.
Oh, I like that.
So thank you very much for supporting the channel, Doc. I really appreciate that. Let's get into this Marvel news. We got a few more topics to wrap up. We've got the new announcement of a Filipino-American Captain America. I believe the name is Ari Agbayani. Not the best name for a Filipino Captain America. Ari means something in Tagalog that I don't believe that they were aware of. We've also got the announcement of the death of Doctor Strange. We got Larry Hama returning to Wolverine with X-Men Legends #7 and Hickman's Inferno. We talked about that one already. I don't know. What's got you most interested here?
I'm wondering whether or not this United States of Captain America is going to be one of those spec books or not. I feel like I'm like Larry here. Every new issue has a brand new Captain America. You got to get them all. This is going to be a big book in the future. I think the one that I'm most interested in is Larry Hama on X-Men Legends. Never really the biggest Larry Hama fan. I've read a lot of his stuff. But I was wondering where X-Men Legends was going to go going forward after the Peter David story, and now we know. So I'm happy.
So we've got Darth Bobcat. I won't do business with the CEO I can't see eye to eye with. There you go.
It's a Deathstroke eye joke.
We've got Kenneth Dowling. Doc, Batman in the 90s sucked. The Long Halloween came out in the 90s.
I'm not talking about Batman as a character. I'm talking about Batman as the title and Detective Comics. It was going through a low period. I'm not saying that it was...
He had a lot of titles during that time, though. Shadow of the Bat, Legends of the Dark Knight.
He did. And
all of which were selling pretty well, actually.
All right.
Oh, sales analysis.
Thank you very much for Kenneth Dowling for helping put Doc in his place. You do not defile the name of Batman here on the channel. Only I get to do that. Back to the business ahead. Doc, you are the Marvel aficionado. Which one of these gets you excited? Besides Larry Hama's X-Men Legends, which we're going to talk about tomorrow as well as Inferno. Death of Doctor Strange?
You took the only two that I'm even remotely... I mean...
Is the Death of Doctor Strange going to be permanent? Can they even market this anymore?
I don't understand why they're doing this, right? This is absolutely fucking par for the course for Marvel. Hey, right before the movie, the sequel movie comes out of your biggest character that remains, let's kill him. Because, we capitalized on Avengers by replacing all the fucking Avengers.
Yep.
With Z-list, dime store copies of them. So sure, why the fuck not?
But he's a cishet white man. He needs to die, man.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that it's stupid and it's bad marketing. Although genital Captain America, I think that's the one. Just to see. I just want to see if they actually can play it straight and not not go with it. I mean,
Play
and
it
not
straight.
not
I
bring up the
believe
fact that it's.
The comic's already written. I don't think that they were aware what Ari means in Tagalog.
I don't think so. I just want to see how everybody reacts to it and laughs at the fact that they just keep calling her dick and balls.
I
For
don't
the
even
entire-
know enough English. I'm not going to worry about this too much.
I don't know, Perch. Do they have enough time to fix this, or are they going to roll with it? That name?
No, they'll roll with it. Yeah, they'll roll with it. I mean, it's a kind of a slang. I mean, there's enough degrees of separation that they can officially say, nah, you guys are just a bunch of dicks saying this, and it's not really true. And it will
I don't
blow
know. I
over.
live in the Philippines. I presented the name to a couple people, and they're like, "You would never call a girl that."
No. They're not going to change it or care, though. And I mean,
It
Marvel
really
always
is like
comment-
calling a girl pussy galore in the USA. I
Yeah.
mean, it
No,
really
it
is.
refers to male genitalia. It's like
Yeah,
calling
but-
her cock and balls.
Well, it's Captain Dick, so that's great. But
Captain Genitals.
but it's nobody's really going to care.
Joe, do you want to say something?
No.
That's my
You had a
favorite
face
Captain
like you wanted to
America.
jump in there. This is my favorite Cap.
Yeah, no. I am so baffled and confused by this whole stupid event. So
I see a lot of people on social media where they say, you're going to write a queer character. You should talk to somebody queer before you do that, or whatever that other thing might be.
sure.
And maybe you should have done that this time.
What are the names?
Yeah,
again?
maybe you should have
You know.
talked to
I
a
mean-
Filipino. But remember, no, it's modern Marvel. Asia is Asia, and all Asians are exactly the same.
Well, also, in fairness, the Philippines used to be tribal, and there are different languages all over the country. Like, we don't really speak Tagalog so much here. It's more Waray, but my wife worked in the capital city, Manila, so she speaks Tagalog because that's where she did her business and stuff. But you would get a lot of different things because there's so many different languages here. So it can get confusing.
I think the funniest part of this is I'm betting Alyssa Wong got this idea because somebody that she knew was always getting a girl that was Filipino, always getting called Ari, and nobody realized that, and she didn't realize that it was making fun of her friend.
I have no idea.
When I was younger, we would watch Sábado Gigante with my Argentinian friend. He couldn't understand every single word. So, it was pretty bad translations. But, dialects are a thing. And what are you going to do?
So we've got Wayward with the super chat. Congrats on the new kid. Here's some diaper money. Well, thank you very much, Wayward. I really appreciate that. We could always use some more diaper money. We've got Darth Bobcat. If Marvel wanted to repeat an event that would sell books, Death of Captain Marvel. Come on, you cowards, do it.
Yep.
And they love doing things in twos, and they've already done that once before, right?
Well,
Yeah,
the rumor is that Carol Danvers is going to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. So
Oh God. Oh, I need.
No,
to
they
tell
already moved on from that. Like, she's back dating Rhodey again in the
Oh,
solicitations. Yeah.
That was a romance I couldn't dare to see end.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Oof.
you're getting booed in England or in the UK, Doc. Zook's Pop Culture.
Hey,
the
you know what?
£5 super chat. People in the store are booing Doc, and he deserves it.
But
His
wait,
takes on Batman.
The last time I gave a shit what a Brit thought about me was
Oh, dear God.
You're gonna
245
insult-
years ago.
Insult the customers.
wow. Oh, they might be saying boo earns.
I was saying Boo Earns.
Please boo Doc. He deserves it. He is
Boo
the
me.
biggest piece of crap on the channel. Let's just put it that
More
way. So
heat than
thank you
Jeff
very
Jarrett.
much. And I guess
Boo
every
me,
panel needs to
peasants.
have a villain on there. We've got Old School Comics later today. Here's a deposit for the diaper fund. Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. And thank you, support the channel. Did anyone else have anything to say about the Marvel news? I don't think I called on everybody. Joe, what did you have? What are you excited about? Or did I call on you already?
I maybe. Well,
You did.
I'm-
Doesn't matter.
yeah. No, I'm genuinely excited for Inferno because I want to see what the hell's going to actually happen.
Absolutely. It's heel Doc, not heel Yule nowadays.
Yeah.
But we did
Damn
get some Marvel news. Let's talk about something that gets me in trouble. Every time I review one of these Disney Plus shows, everybody gets mad at me because I'm not, I don't know. verbally filleting Kevin Feige in Marvel Studios. But Loki was a big disappointment for me. I wish that I had a little bit more time after the episode debut before I reviewed it. I was running out of time. I had to go right back in there and review it with Aaron Sparrow. But this thing really does a lot of long-term damage to the MCU. Just as far as some of the points that they introduced. I don't know. Joe, you're a writer. I'm sure you noticed.
Sure.
Like, there was a point during, Infinity War, where the Sorcerer Supreme himself ran a simulation to see if what they were doing could result in victory. He ran 1 million simulations. They won one time because their future was not set in stone.
Yeah.
Apparently that was all bullshit. Bruce Banner went to the Ancient One and made a deal where they would have a variant timeline and can go back, and he was going to return their time stone and all that because they'd lost it. Apparently that probably got them reset and killed. There's so many things that Loki probably inadvertently undoes that were established within the Marvel continuity. It's shocking.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem that well thought through. That doesn't mean that there won't be more explanations into why it's working, but I do feel like the MCU at this point is getting bogged down by having to over-explain things, and that's a problem. But I'm going to get real bitchy for a second here, because the thing that really stood out to me was they did a lot of flashbacks to the other movies. And Tom Hiddleston's 10 years younger. And when you show me Tom Hiddleston 10 years younger, and then immediately, or as I'm watching that, show me Tom Hiddleston today, it is very obvious that man has aged a decade in a way that I wouldn't be thinking of if you weren't showing me these flashbacks. It was it was a very bad idea for them to show flashbacks like that and make it so obvious that Tom Hiddleston has aged a lot since then.
Well, that's not very nice of them to do. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just going, man, I remember seeing this all in Beetlejuice, and it was actually funny then. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the problem. You have Owen Wilson, and that man is not fucking funny.
He can be funny, but he's not funny here. He's completely dry.
He cannot be funny.
Okay.
It's impossible.
Accidentally funny.
Him and Ben Stiller are the two people that cannot be funny to save their fucking lives.
Oh my God, Doc, you're just. Would you like to insult soccer as well, or
yes.
football?
Yeah. I will. I'll insult soccer.
Hey, soccer and the metric system are a commie plot.
Well, are you going to come at the French next by knocking Jerry Lewis?
Oh, no. I was just going to call them cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Classic Homer Simpson line. What do you think of it, Perch? Did you see as many plot holes in Loki #1, and probably it did a lot more damage than I think they probably thought they could have done?
Yeah, time travel is always something like it opens up a bad box if you don't have a clear coordinated plan, and they kind of revealed in the first episode they don't. I mean, they're going to do kind of entertaining time hijinks, but it wasn't fun. I finished watching Mare of Easttown and then came on to Loki, and that is a drop of writing between those two little adventures. So that was a rough ride. I don't know. I like Tom Hiddleston. I like some of these people. I have no issues with Owen Wilson. He can do fine. He can play a little tiny cowboy in Night at the Museum just fine. Sure. But this is. It's going to be weird seeing him in Wedding Crashers too. But anyway, I'm struggling. Like, how many episodes are we getting to this? Is going to be like 7, 8. Like,
it's not 6 like the other ones.
I was hoping 6.
Maybe it's 6.
Yeah, 4.
It's going to be a long
0.
road. Yeah, it's going to be one long road here.
It's retcon the TV show.
I mean but they're not going to do. I love this hype now. Like, we're gonna definitely do some major things that will have echoes across the Marvel universe. They have said that for every single show they come out, and they're always going to say that. Like, it's not really going to matter. I mean, there will be some things in there, but it's like I can't wait for in 2 weeks everybody to guess that Mephisto's behind it all. I mean, so everything about this show is annoying, right?
Well, the thing about nothing matters here. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Pele, but
that's all right.
We've witnessed all these characters do things, and it's in essence, when we get the time variant agency or whatever it is, that these characters never had agency. Thor didn't make a mistake when he didn't kill Thanos when he had the chance, when he should have aimed for the head or whatever. That was just the way it was always had to happen. There was no mistake in there, and nobody ever made a heroic decision or a heroic sacrifice. It was just a part of the timeline. And that's the way it was explained.
I mean, sure.
It's
like, my goodness.
If you say so.
The writing isn't good. The problem is you've got writers over there that are like, oh my God, this would be so funny. It's like lol, so random, and they don't care about actually tying up the loose ends. They don't care about actually making a compelling storyline as long as they can catch people off guard and maybe throw a monkey wrench into something just so they can have some way to subvert expectations. It's the same shit over and over again.
Well, the problem is you have now a Disney television show, so you're going to have Disney television creators involved, and then you're surprised that you get Disney fucking TV show. I mean, come on. Might as well be on the Disney Channel.
Everett Todd, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Loki expands the MCU to show the higher powers, and I was unimpressed personally. We've got Kenneth Dowling with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Very generous.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Watch Loki.
Thank you.
I wasn't blown away about it. Joe makes a great point. The MCU has gotten criticism over their timeline since Spider-Man Homecoming. I've never been crazy for this character. Wes, I support no matter what you like. Well, I appreciate that. And I just wasn't all that impressed. I'm sorry, Pele. Finish your thoughts.
No, it's just they'd rather be spontaneous and random and quirky and all this kind of stuff than actually be decent about, consistent about their writing. And it's like they don't communicate with each other, and you can absolutely tell it's the same way in comics as it is now in same way in television as it was now in comics. They don't communicate as much as they just say, oh, well, that looks like it'd be fun, let's just do that, instead of actually sitting around and working out a plot that pulls everything together. And it's obvious, it's so incredibly damn obvious how everything diverged from Infinity War. That all went great. Then right after that, I'm sorry, the MCU finished, because everything that's come after that has been flaming crap so far. And
you didn't like WandaVision?
No. Have they stopped the team meetings? Have they stopped communicating with each other? That's all I want to know, because it feels like it. None of the writing is actually consistent from one to the next. So no, I didn't really like WandaVision. I thought that it was kind of interesting in the middle, after they got through with the television stuff, and I thought, that's kind of all right. And then they get to the middle, and I'm like, oh, I'm invested in this now. And then the end of it just fell flat on its face. So,
all right, Doc, you haven't pissed all over Loki yet. Let's give it your best shot.
Look, it's. I mean, taking kind of what Pele was saying. Yeah, you can see that at some point the plans for the future changed, and it was shortly after Infinity War. They added in Carol and kind of forced her in. Whether or not the rumor was true about them filming a lot of the same scenes twice, once with Scarlet and once with Bree, for who was going to take that central role in Endgame. I don't know how much merit that is to it. But you could see it with the way they did Cap and the Winter Soldier, where they deviated. They were setting up for like 5 movies that Bucky would end up as the next Captain America, and then they deviated from that. I think we're reaching the point where they're deviating from the source material significantly. They're just going off in their own direction, and that's fine. You're going to lose the Marvel evangelists as a result.
Yeah.
You're going to get different ones, but you're going to get MCU evangelists, not Marvel evangelists. And I think that it's essentially, I checked out mentally after Endgame. I mean, if I haven't even bothered to watch the first episode of Loki, just haven't even bothered. No urgency at all to it.
Not even when I said we were going to talk about it here on the channel.
No, I figured I'll probably
goodness.
step out for a smoke during that phase.
Yeah, I mean, my wife loves the MCU. She's very, very fond of the stories that were told. She goes back and watches the old movies. You know, Iron Man 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. She loves them all, and except for Ant-Man and Wasp, she hated that. And she sat there watching Loki, a character she really likes in the old films. She loves Loki. She left halfway through the show and didn't come back and found something else to do. And that told me everything I need to know. I mean, that just makes the person that loved the show and likes the character that much and did not walk back.
Hiddleston was doing his best to hold the thing up, but it was like a clip show.
I got the feeling that, like, you know, with them deviating, I mean, I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, just you and I, about the respecting the source material, sticking to the source material, and its relative impact on the success of the project. And I think you're already starting to see their deviations from it. I mean, look, I haven't seen a lot of people. I mean, it's not like, you know, in a lot of the early MCU movies and even up through Endgame, you saw kind of a general universal approval of the product, except for during Captain Marvel. Ant-Man had a relatively universal, it might not have been as enthusiastic, but all of them had a universal approval on them. And now I think you're starting to get a lot of the split approval because they're deviating significantly by creating their own mythology.
All right, Perch, it sounds like you're having a much more interesting conversation in the comments than we are having right here. What's going on with Loki?
No, just I mean this. This is this. Let's attach labels to people because it's 2021. But Loki has been established for a long time as having sex with everything and being in all kinds of different forms: male, female, alien, animal. He's mated with wolves before. I mean, Loki gets around.
Captain Kirk of Marvel Comics.
That's right. It's like so these people are now putting this this like, oh, it's canon now. He's bisexual. No, those terms don't really apply. He's a trickster god that does all kinds of crazy stuff.
It's like calling America Chavez a lesbian when she comes from a Latino when she's an alien that comes from a monogendered society.
That's been retconned.
I know they just but my point was during that period before it got retconned, it was an absurd. You know, that's like calling we've Superman white.
We've had comics of him changing into animal form, changing into different what looks like Earthling gender type. I mean, this has gone forever. Like he's often described in Marvel Comics depicted as a guy, but he's a god. This entire idea of shoving this kind of stuff into the character on any front is just weird. He has sex with spiders in the comics. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, his kids are a wolf and a serpent.
Yeah,
and he turned into a frog.
Sure. All right, we've officially gone enough off course that we are going to get back into it. Say thank you for everyone for joining us and talking about all these wonderful content or these. What do we talk about? We talked about these news items and things of that nature. Let's get into the comic book recommendations and let's bring this show home. I want to say thank you very much to everyone for supporting the channel, all the super chats, and we had a lively discussion in the comment section. Looks like everyone was having a good time. And a special shout out to my friends in the UK. Thank you for playing the show in your shop, and I hope everyone had a good time enjoying this. And hopefully, we got some comic books that they can go pick up right now. Uel, what are you recommending this week?
In comic book form, Copra number 40 by Michel Fiffe came out. If you were lucky enough to have a store that got that, you should get it. If not, subscribe to Michelle Fife's Etsy store or something like that. Also, there was a new Marvel collection of Spider-Man that came out this week, the Mighty Marvel, whatever it's called. And it's really nice. It feels like a Scholastic book. It's cheap. It's under $20. And that's pretty much it. Erratic came out in trade. Very, very good. And it's only $10.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend that also. And that's
Erratic
what I
is
recommend.
fantastic.
It's Erratic's great, and Kari Andrews' interview is going up in 1 hour, so you can hear him talk about his trade.
Oh, very nice.
Absolutely. We got Nolan Nerd, who dat with the 3504 super chat. Thank you so much for being very generous. I disagree with you on Loki. I loved episode 1 of Loki, and I love this channel and the show. Here's a token of my appreciation. Who dat?
Sure.
Well, thank you for allowing us to agree to disagree and still appreciating the channel. And hopefully Loki turns around, because I do love Tom Hiddleston as a character.
Sure.
And hopefully he just goes on these weird time adventures. And that's kind of what the show is from here on out. Because I think that would actually be fun. And thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, Joe, what are you recommending this week?
Oh, well, I think I had flashed that Everfrost from Black Mask, if you have a shop that carries Black Mask. But there's a lot of great stuff like coming out like next week, like Silver Coin #3, which I'm excited, and Wonder Girl #2 I think comes out next week. But what was it? They collected the other week We Live from Aftershock, which got
So good.
It's great.
Eisner nomination, yeah.
Eisner nomination, which is really great. And someone also brought up in the chat, and we didn't get to talk about it here, that today is actually Superman Day, June 12th. So they just released, I'm just going to grab these here, they just released the hardcover of Man of Steel Volume 3. I got the first 2 here. Go pick that up. Pick out some good Superman stuff. Enjoy Superman. That's what he'd want you to do.
Absolutely. Happy Superman Day, everybody. I'm glad I have a Superman recommendation when I get to me. Who else we got? Pele, what do you guys recommending down in Parts Unknown?
I think that they recommended Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm going to go off the page a bit here, and I liked Swamp God #1 from Heavy Metal. I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely different. It's kind of dark and moody, and that's been me lately. So, yeah, that's about the only thing I read this week that I would actually recommend. So,
well, that's disappointing. I read more comics than that.
Oh, I've read them. I just wouldn't recommend them.
Doc, you recommending anything this week?
I legitimately and wholeheartedly can recommend
X-Men 21?
Nothing new this week. At least of what I read. I don't know if there was probably everybody else had some good recommendations. I'm assuming they're good. But out of the stuff that I read, I don't recommend anybody buying any of it. But I do recommend you going, if you're in a shop in the UK right now, go start digging through their back issue bins. Go and fill out that run that, you're only missing a couple issues on, and or that run that you haven't started yet, you've been meaning to, and you could pick up 20 or 30 of the of the back issues out of their whatever the European or British equivalent of the dollar bin is. The pound bin.
Got to be a quid bin or something, right?
Is it the pound bin?
We call it a quid.
I'm pretty. Never mind. Yeah. The quid bin or something. I don't know. Whatever your weird fancy silver money is. Yeah. Go buy a bunch of shit out of there and
go for your 2000 AD comics and find that Judge Dredd, The Cursed Earth. Woo. That thing was amazing.
Oh, Challenge of the Super Sons. That was actually good. I forgot that came out this week. I enjoyed reading that. #3, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. And I did buy one thing this week that I spent way too much goddamn money on. So I bought a 9.8 Wildcats Gold #1.
Something for tomorrow to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna have to share that with the class.
Yes, sir.
Slabbed and raw.
Yep.
Absolutely. That'll be
Either
tomorrow.
way.
We'll be talking about the comic book collecting. And it looks like Uel and Pele and Doc have put together a wonderful show for everyone tomorrow. And speaking of wonderful, we got Kenneth Dowling. I highly recommend Spider-Man Spider Shadow, best Spider-Man comic right now. Sorry, Nick Spencer, but I want Zdarsky to write 100 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Marvel, make this happen, please. I would second that. I would second that, Perch.
I thought that was on my list. Spider-Man. I thought this was actually a pretty solid week. You had to just get down from the big hype books, but Spider Shadow was great.
That's what I thought too.
I liked American Vampire 1976. #9 was quite good. Somebody mentioned Birthright in the chat. Birthright ended and was very solid as a book. Batman the Detective was good. There's a lot of titles in here that are pretty solid. I like Geiger #3. I mean, it's a lighter comic, but it's a more thin comic. I don't know what the best way to put it, but it's good. Oblivion Song was good. There's a handful of things. You'll mentioned Erratic. I've got the advanced copy of Jupiter's Legacy #1 Requiem, which is pretty solid. So we'll have a review up of that, and it's there's some good. This was a better week this week than last week by a big mile.
I agree. We've also got Dark Admiral March here. This one's going for you, Pele. Bronze Age Hunt Question. I'm looking at a good to very good giant-sized creature #1 for $50. It's showing some small splits on the spine. What are your thoughts, Pele?
I think that's a little rich. I think that if you kind of look around maybe at some local shops, you might be able to get a better deal than that. Online, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to find a better deal than that because everything is super inflated right now. But check some of the local shops around you, see if you can find one in a back issue bin, maybe around, in that grade, maybe around $30 bucks, something like that.
Talk him down.
Yeah. But try to see if you can talk him down a little bit. Because that's a 3.0. That's kind of low grade. That's $50 is kind of rich for that book in a low grade.
The easiest way to get a break on a comic is to buy a couple more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to turn them down then.
Once you're buying 3 or 4 books, all of a sudden negotiating's a little easier.
Yeah, it is. That's true. Bundling. Bundling is an advanced trading technique. It works really well.
More of that will be on Slabbed and Raw tomorrow.
Yeah. We can talk about that on, yeah.
I think it'll actually be on the show Monday. That show's probably going to end up being a live stream, but we're still working out the scheduling. And appreciate the support and good question, Dark Admiral March Hare. And so my comic book recommendations, if you haven't been reading Eve from Boom Studios, it's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi book from Victor Lavelle. It's wonderfully illustrated. We're 2 issues in. I think it's fantastic. I think if you like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, you're going to love that comic book. Justice League Last Ride really picked up this week. Really enjoyed that. Chip Zdarsky doing like a future Elseworlds Justice League story. What else? Oh, Nottingham #4. I think that actually came out last week, but I didn't read it till this week. Nottingham has just been badass.
Oh,
Mad
that's
Cave.
awesome.
Such a good
so
story.
Good. So good.
Definitely enjoying that one. So lots of good stuff out there. I read, as I mentioned earlier, Judge Dredd, The Cursed Earth while I was in the hospital. That's a highest recommendation. Superman Secret Identity was freaking great. That's like the best modern realistic story I've ever seen on a character update. That one was really, really good. Oh, there's another one. Oh yeah, the original TMNT stuff from Mirage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I read the first 2 volumes of that, and it was fantastic. Shockingly good. One of the best car chase scenes I've ever seen from Kevin Eastman. I think it's in issue 3, maybe?
Yeah, it was issue 3, I think,
Yeah. So that was fantastic. We've also got Kenneth Dowling. I'll be in Tampa next weekend for a wedding. You guys have fun and stay classy. I'll be back with talk about some old comics I'll have read. Definitely Batman Peace Dudes. Well, have fun at the wedding. We will miss you.
Go and visit my buddies. Go and visit my buddies at Tropic Comics, and tell them that Jay in East Tennessee sent you and that you deserve a discount.
There you go. Maybe you'll get the J discount.
Yeah, yeah. Those are my buds down there. I love those guys.
definitely appreciate the support. We've also got Dark Admiral March Hare. Thank you for the advice. I really want the book, but it seemed high to me considering it's just going to be a display piece in that condition. And definitely check out Slabbed and Raw. Should be on the channel on Monday where we talk about all these kind of comic book collecting things. Tomorrow we will have the comic book writing stream, and we've got This Week in X-Men coming up as well. So thank you all very much. I'm glad to be back. We got one extra passenger here in the house. The baby is doing great. Mommy's doing great, and I will see you all next week.
Wash
Peace,
your
guys.
ass.
And the front.
Bye.